making the news on the headlines this morning, beginning with blueprints. NDLEA busts Turkey-Nigeria drug ring, ex-footballer, 4 others nabbed. Tinubu's St. Lucia trip strategic, not vacation. According to presidency, PDP crisis, I stand with Southeast NWC BOT on NEC national scribe, is according to the Enugu State Governor, Dr. Peter Mbah. I was still seeing more ribbon cutting there as the president is set to commission Giri district access roads today. More ribbon cutting perhaps from St. Lucia. From Business Day, at 3.7 billion naira per kilometer, Nigeria builds Africa's most expensive roads. How one policy fueled Nigeria's cement boom. Tinubu empowers ICRC to implement approval thresholds for PPP projects. And moving on straight now to Nigerian Tribune. Call Umar lists Sultan Oyinlola, 37 other military officers as members of June 12th movement. Accept CFR national honor, warns Tinubu of sycophants. NEC meeting will go as scheduled, according to the PDP. BOT meets ahead planned NEC Wabara rally stakeholders. And another infographic there displaying some more ribbon cutting. On New Telegraph, PDP crisis intractable as confusion mass scheduled NEC meeting. Governor Mbah, Southeast reserves rights to review future with PDP if we need dedicated members to rebuild PDP ahead of 2027. This is according to Bode George. Minister to step down proposed $50 baggage handling fee. Lawyers seek legal constitutional reforms to end rights abuse as concerns mount over upsurge. Security forces rescue 13 abducted Benue Link passengers. Victory over terrorists, others certain according to COAS. Security votes, Serap threatens legal action against governors. Tinubu empowers MDAs to approve projects under 20 billion naira. Contract staff, Tier 1 banks outsourcing costs up 35% to 119.9 billion naira.
The Punch. YEAC versus Makinde tensions mount as PDP holds NEC meeting today. BOT summons emergency meeting ahead of disputed NEC. APC mocks PDP, says party is dead. Hurricane Tinubu, APC launches fresh moves to pull 5 governors. Moving over to The Guardian. Old rivalries hobble PDP's lifeline NEC meeting. The Daily Independent. Nigeria's rising debt revenue shortfalls deepen fiscal worries. And $3.5 billion Nigeria services account deficit highlights weakness in FX generation. PDP crisis deepens as NWC holds parallel meetings ahead of NEC. NEC holds today, insists. Governor Mbah stands by Southeast NWC BOT on NEC national scribe. Presidency replies OB justifies Tinubu's trip to St. Lucia. Account for security votes, Serap tells governors. Stakeholders worry over heightened mass unemployment in Nigeria. FX risk. Others push airlines to pursue dry lease with states. Dangote's 720 billion naira CNG drive to save Nigerians 1.7 trillion naira lift 42 million MSMEs. Moving over to Daily Trust. Last one right here. PDP NEC meeting holds today. NWC members insist. No, it's expanded caucus session, the Maguns group says. Ganduje is it. CPC block North Central push for APC chairmanship. How Naira depreciation pushed Nigeria's debts to 149.39 trillion Naira. Dan data for burial in Saudi Arabia today. Lastly, 2027, Sean sycophant Dangiwa tells Tinubu.
All right, I think we'll start very clearly from this one. Barrister Chidi, New Telegraph, PDP crisis intractable as confusion mars scheduled NEC meeting. Now, it's meant to happen today, being June 30th. It's supposed to be a National Executive Council meeting of the PDP stakeholders. You're seeing Governor Mbah on one side saying that he stands on his initial position with who should be the party's national secretary, and that is Sunday Ude Okoye. Whereas you're seeing Samuel Anyanwu on the other side, and a lot of confusions, which he has described as shenanigans, rocking the party. He's also maintaining that if the position of the Southeast Caucus is not upheld, then he reserves the right to change parties, so to speak, because it's becoming a lot. What is your take on the crisis rocking the PDP and the firm stand of the Enugu State governor on this matter? You would recall that on Sunday he did have a meeting where Seyi Makinde of Oyo State was in attendance, and this was what was discussed. This is how this news came about in the first place. He's not backing down on the ultimatum he gave earlier. Your thoughts?
It's a very interesting position taken by the governor of Enugu State. I like it. I think this is the first time, or rather for a long time, we are in this state having a vocal governor, having a governor that has a political clout, having a governor who is not afraid of the political bigwigs who have been there before him. Being this is the first time he's becoming a governor, not even a second time, and he's holding such strong position. You know, a few months ago there was a rumor that he was planning to defect to APC. So I think this position that he is holding now, you know, gives people that confidence that he knows where he stands. And now let's look at what he is saying. You know, politics, they say, is a game of interest, and one would have thought that probably by now he would have switched over to the other camp, or probably because his predecessor was in the other camp. You remember the G5 and what they were trying to achieve during the 2023 election. So him coming up to stand on this Udokoye secretary issue has really, you know, made his core group, you understand, and those who support him as a PDP member and as also someone who believes in the principles and in the leadership of PDP, to say yes, we have a man here who can stand with us for a long time, and who knows his onions and also how to fry it. I pray that the issue in PDP will easily be resolved because that word, it really shook me. Intractable simply means something that is very stubborn, that have defied every positive means to put it in a correct way. This issue is very let me tell you, since I started monitoring and watching political issues in Nigeria, I have never seen this kind of a problem. When political parties have issue, it's always a thing of when they go into the inner caucus meeting, before you know it, someone will step down for the other person. Before you know it, someone will drop one position or the other. And I think one could rightly say that maybe that the ruling party has a very dangerous hand into this problem that have defied all political solution. I have never seen this kind of thing before.
I was even going to bring that to you, but Dr. Fyneface, so you there?
I'm here, yes.
Okay, now I want to ask you this question, right? Do you think that somehow this is the plan for the APC to get some of these big wigs? So I was even going to ask, right, it's great that a crop or crops are germinating from the PDP. You're talking about Makinde, you're talking about Peter Mbah, who can actually challenge YEAC, to whatever it is, right? But that's by the way. Do you think that this is part of the plan for the APC to dismantle this party entirely? Put that confusion there. And as Governor Mbah is stating already that, hey, if it doesn't work this way, I'll go other way. Your take?
Yes, of course, that is the grand plan. The APC and of course the federal government is approaching the dismantling of the PDP from different angles. They are allegedly ensuring that there is perpetual crisis in the PDP, and then capitalizing on that to ensure that they pick their governors to themselves. Just over the weekend, we got to know that they are now gunning for 5 of the PDP governors. And at the grand defection of the Akwa Ibom State governor, the Senate president made it clear that the next stage to come in were Rivers and Bayelsa. All of these processes are on. And when you look at the PDP crisis, it is deepening every day. And the crisis is going to be before, during, and after the 2027 general elections. The same way it has been before, during, and after the 2023 general elections. So the PDP crisis has come to stay. And whatever is remaining of the PDP that will not be able to win the 2027 election will be buried totally after the 2027 elections. So this is the time for them to realize that the PDP is not going anywhere. One thing that they must also know over this crisis, over secretary or no secretary, is the fact that the moment the hand of the FCT minister is in it, it is either they go to his direction by allowing Anyanwu to become the substantive secretary of the party, or everything goes down to ground zero for the PDP. He doesn't fight and then you win. He fights to ensure that you lose. Remember, when he lost at the PDP primaries in 2023, he said he wasn't going to support the PDP, and he ensured that the PDP doesn't win the 2023 general elections. He supported the APC, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Tinubu became president. Atiku came second, Peter Obi came third. So what you are seeing now, apart from the fact that we are all aware, the leg of the FCT minister, one is in PDP and one is in APC. And Mr. President has appealed to him to defect to him, to his party, the APC. But he's looking for the right opportunity. Everything is now clear. If any action is taken through the courts that makes the other candidate, not Anyanwu that is supporting, to become the PDP secretary, it may not become an opportunity for him to wait till it is closer to the election. He will defect to the PDP, to the APC, and everything about the PDP will go down. He has stated it clearly that the sustenance of the PDP was from him, and he's still doing so. That is why it is difficult for the PDP to even suspend him. So much are involved in this, and their crisis is very, very deep, and will continue to be deeper until we will not have up to 2-3 governors left in the PDP.
Okay, so looking at this headline from the Punch that says, just on the top right corner there, Wike versus Makinde, tensions mount as PDP holds NEC meeting today. Now, further into that, we're seeing more on the story as the crisis within the PDP deepens over the position of the National Secretary. A major showdown appears imminent as party leaders are at odds with rival factions planning to hold separate NEC and National Caucus meetings today in Abuja. Of course, you have one faction, Samuel Anyanwu, that is obviously being backed by the FCT minister, and you have another one that is being backed by the Southeast Caucus and some other members of the PDP, Sunday Ode Okoye. What is this trend about seeming planting of seeds of discord or division to get one's way? And I'm talking about the FCT minister. Why does it appear as if he's always at odds with what other people want? Is it just politics, or is it just a way of causing confusion in a way to get who he thinks can exert some control? On the other side, why do you think the Southeast Caucus is so against Samuel Anyanwu? Do you think it's a thing of where Ode Okoye is from, or is there something else? Help us break it down.
It is more of politics, and in politics what is permanent is interest. And in this interest that is being sustained by the political gladiators in the PDP, they are all trying to ensure that they are at the head of affairs. In terms of the FCT minister, he has made it clear that over the years he has been the singular person funding the PDP, and he has funded every structure of the PDP across the country, to an extent that there is no segment of the PDP that can say that he has not benefited from the resources of Rivers State through the FCT minister, then governor. Because we are all aware of how he boasts of it and even said they can't suspend him. So this struggle you are seeing is for them to continue to sustain themselves at the local and national level. You can see how the FCT minister battled for structure in Rivers State, which with the settlement we now have,
he has
from
gotten,
the fillers we
yes,
are getting,
he's gotten that.
the structure has returned to him.
Yes.
Then if you look at the secretary position, you will see that he knows that he's very close to Anyanwu, and the relationship with Anyanwu will make him to always have his way in the National Working Committee of the PDP. That is why he's sustaining this. Those who are against this in the Southeast are also saying that maybe if Anyanwu is there, they may not be able to have their way. So it's all about interest all the way.
All right, thank you, Dr. Fyneface, for the analysis. Let's come back to you, Barrister Chidi. Looking at this other major headline here on Daily Independent that says, Presidency replies Obi justifies Tinubu's trip to St. Lucia. Now, the presidency has issued a robust response to the criticism over President Bola Tinubu's state visit to St. Lucia, insisting the trip is a historic diplomatic engagement designed to deepen Nigeria's ties to the Caribbean and foster South-South cooperation, not a leisure excursion. St. Lucia is in the Caribbean, it's a country in the Caribbean, and lots of people are wondering why the sudden need to return Nigeria's ancestral ties with St. Lucia, a Caribbean country, whereas there's so much going on in the country. Presidency says this is not leisure, it's a state working visit. Your take?
If it's a state working visit, I think he should also be open to the state about the working visit. Who are you visiting? What are you discussing? Beyond that,
Peter Obi is saying that the visit is ill-timed.
Yes.
It's an ill-timed visit and that it's insensitive, of course, referring to what's happening in the country.
Mr. President has the right to embark on any kind of visit that he thinks is strategic to the Nigerian economy, Nigerian politics. He has that right. You can't take it away from him. Okay, yes, we know that there are so many things happening in this country, but what I'm saying is that that thing that could make him to look down on all these issues in this country, to embark on this journey, that thing should be made open. We should know about it. We should know what is coming out in every meeting that he's embarking on. We should know how much that visit is costing Nigeria. Let me give you an instance. There's an investigation now going on against Tim Walsh, who was this running mate, the Democrat running mate during their 2024 general election, because there were visits he made in China and other countries whereby, as a governmental official, he cannot give accounts of the meetings he had, people he saw, and all the rest of them. So they are accusing him of selling state secret documents and all the rest of them. How can the number one man in this country embarking on a visit and the nitty-gritties of his meetings and everything should be made open? If there are ones that are classified that has to do with security, fine, we don't want to know about that. But if you are giving us this impression that this visit is strategic, you want to let us know about every meeting you are having, whom are you meeting with, what are you discussing, come and address the press on those issues, such a way that Nigerians can know exactly what you are doing there. If this visit can make you to leave Nigeria that everybody is observing like a boiling cauldron, so many issues, you understand, popping up, and you can leave it to go on this Caribbean island on a very tense moment like this, I think he owes us the accountability and the responsibility to tell us every bit and everything that he's discussing.
And then speaking of islands, you saw yellow water. The president could not get there, but somehow he's able to get across to the Caribbean islands that's surrounded by water. Well, I'll leave it at that.
Well. Dr. Fyneface is still there. There's a question I want to ask you.
Okay.
But first, Dr. Fyneface.
He's always there.
Oh. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, fine. There's
like
a clause. There's a clause in part of the agreement regarding Governor Fubara, Nation Wike, and our president, right? Which states that between 3 local government chairmen is going to be by him selected. I want to ask you a question. Is these Rivers states being handed over to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2027?
Via Wike.
Yes, via Wike. And also, there were conversations online, people, saying a lot of things that is restating Governor Fubara. It's more like a furniture cushion in Rivers States, just so you know that apparently it literally does not hold powers that much again because it's been dismantled somewhat. So these 2 questions, Wike, is this Rivers States going back to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu come 2027 election? And also people saying things that Governor Fubara is more like a furniture right now if he's reinstated. back into the government house?
Well, I wish time will allow us to really talk, but I will just summarize responses to these questions.
Go ahead.
In the first instance, whether Rivers State is being handed over to the president again ahead of 2027, it has always been with the president. Since after or before the 2023 elections, we have it handed over to the president because it was a PDP state, which is still a PDP state by today from what we know. And then PDP supported the APC to win at the center. And it confirmed presidential campaign statement then that we talk about APC. A lot of people thought Mr. President made a mistake, but he was saying that people in the PDP will work for him in the APC, and it became APC. We got that in Rivers State. Now, the appointment of the former governor of the state as the FCT minister has placed him with Mr. President. And as someone that is serving with Mr. President as the FCT minister, he would like to continue to be relevant in Nigerian political process even beyond 2027. And that is to say, he has to do everything it takes to ensure that he delivers his own state to the president, so that the president will see reason why he should continue to keep him in his government. In politics, if you are not politically relevant, nobody will keep you close to themselves. So Mr. President, even having also declared emergency in the state, a budget has been passed by him, sole administrator is there and all of that, and then the peace has been brokered now, which gives an opportunity to have direct say into what happens in Rivers State, not only to the FCT minister but to the incoming governor after the suspension expires in September. It means that Mr. President has one of the strongest holds on Rivers State than what you can think of in Lagos State, where he comes from. So Lagos and Rivers are bankers first for him before other states where he has supporters like Akwa Ibom, Delta and others. So Mr. President is in total control ahead of 2027 general elections in Rivers State. Whether or not the suspended governor on his reinstatement will become a kind of like piece of furniture in the government house, well, that is an allegation, and I know quite well that it is not far from the truth. I have always said it in the media during the crisis that look, what the governor accepted and came to office is similar to what we say in our body language, that if you borrow necklace, you shouldn't be turning your neck in the necklace too much because you may cut the necklace. You have to make your neck very gentle in the necklace because you borrowed it. The position he's sitting now, he borrowed it, quote and unquote, because he was handpicked and given the position. So having been there, he has to live and govern with the whims and caprices of the FCT minister that put him there.
Yes.
Even the grassroots development initiative that supported the process of him getting to office are also strongly against him. That is why, as part of the agreement, they even said that this simplified movement, which is the political structure of the governor, should be dismantled, so that the GDI continues to be the vehicle that will support anybody the FCT minister supports to become governor. So all of these are on the ground. So the governor of the state now, after he's reinstated, he will be weaker than he was before the crisis, than even he was during the crisis. So much power has been taken from him, and he will have very little say. He will just be there warming the seats, taking instructions and doing what they ask him to do. And I tell you, some of his supporters are going to be angry, and this will cause another round of crisis. That if a new state of emergency is not declared, it may lead to a process whereby he will not be allowed to run for 2027 general elections, because the system is going to be so skewed that they can't even talk, they can't express themselves, they can't gather, and their constitutional rights of freedom of association, expression, and of course speech will be taken away from them.
All right,
and they will just be like,
Dr. Fyneface, let me come in there now. Do you think, and this is a very simple question, do you think that Sir Siminalayi Fubara should have agreed to that agreement? Should he have agreed to the agreements?
Yeah, whether or not he should have agreed to the agreement is what I describe as half loaf is better than none. In the interest of Rivers State, he should not have agreed to the agreement. But for his personal interest, he agreed to the agreement, believing that half loaf is better than none. That is better for him to be in office as governor and agree to these heavy and bitter conditionalities, the way he had described them, than to go back home and sit down and say, because I disagree in the interest of others. And this is what tells you about the character of politics in the developing area like Nigeria. whereby people put ahead of them their personal interests above state and general public interest. In the interest of Rivers State, he shouldn't have agreed to the agreement. But for his personal interest...
He said it was the interest of Rivers State. That's why he agreed on it, though.
He agreed to the agreement.
As he stated, it's for the interest of Rivers people. That's why he agreed on, just to have, you know, like his personal interest does not matter. He's the Rivers people. He wants peace. So progress.
That is not true. That is not true at all. That is not true. The interest of Rivers people is that Rivers State belongs to every Rivers man and not any single or two individuals. The interest of Rivers State is that there should be no conditionalities attached to people getting into office as council chairman. The interest of Rivers State is that there should be no conditionalities attached to the governor that was elected into the state. The interest of Rivers people is that Rivers State should be allowed to be governed by the person they have elected, to have a free hand to govern the same way the FCT minister governed for 8 years without distraction. The interest of Rivers State is that democracy should be practiced in its generally acceptable form, as is obtained in other parts of Nigeria and other parts of the world, and guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Anything outside this, among others that I cannot mention because of time, is not the interest of Rivers State. Any interest of Rivers State that is heavy as a condition for the sitting governor to stand by is not the interest of Rivers State. Any interest of Rivers State that is bitter for the person that is the governor of Rivers State is not the interest of Rivers people. The interest of Rivers people is that whoever is governor should be happy, govern without heavy load except the needs of the people of Rivers State.
That's right.
So governance in Rivers State today is threatened and it is skewed, and that is not the interest of Rivers people. So whatever the governor has accepted, it is for his personal interest and not the interest of Rivers people like he has stated it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fyneface. I'm going to come back to you, but let me ask you this, Barrister Chidi. Now what? If Fubara is reinstated, what kind of governance are we looking at?
There was something that Mr. Fyneface said, and you know, it really, in my own political understanding, it really settles the whole issue, because what are we fighting for? There's what we call the fruit of a poison tree. No matter how beautiful it looks, no matter how charming it looks, is the fruit of a poison tree. Okay? Fubara, like Mr. Fyneface rightly pointed out, was handpicked by the outgoing governor. Okay? He was handpicked. He who pays the piper dictates the tune. At that point, that was where the will of the people were thrown into the bunkers. At that point, where there was no democratic election of selecting somebody who would be the PDP flag bearer for Rivers State. At that point, where the outgoing governor came back and handpicked somebody, it was at that point, it was at that moment that the democracy of the people of Rivers State was sold. So, what will you make out of Fubara now? How can Fubara, what will he eat now that will turn him into a political gladiator all of a sudden? Maybe defect to APC, align with the new members who will be selected by YEAC and infiltrate them, go deep into the APC. That's the only thing that can make him relevant in Nigerian politics, or probably give him the time, the opportunity to run again in 2027. Because there was something that Mr. Fyneface forgot. Part of the deal is that he will not even contest.
Yeah.
Now, sources that do not want to be disclosed are saying that because Simila Fubara, if I bite my tongue, because Simi Fubara did not stay loyal to the person who, like Barrister Chidi said, handpicked him.
Yes.
That is why he is being told to only stay one term, so that the FCT minister, whomever they so decide, would now pick who would take over in 2027. So basically, what the sources are alleging is that this appears to be some sort of a penance for not being loyal to the person who put him there in the first place.
I'm bothering in my mind.
What do you think, Dr. Fyneface?
Well, I think it's something that we are all aware of, and in a way we are just being careful about, I'm just being careful about opening up certain things, because I am in this political space. I grew up here. I understand everything that is going on, and my knowledge of the political process too has made it very clear to me what is playing out. I have mentioned before that he will get 2027 because of some of these issues. I have also mentioned before how he was handpicked. And the plan now is that, my own area, which is the Ogoni area where I come from, we've been talking about the fact that we have not been governor, we have not been deputy governor, we've not been speaker, we've not been, chief judge of Rivers State. So the game plan they are planning now is that, which is part of the peace process, which is what, Barrister has mentioned, is to see that he doesn't come back in 2027. And they are not likely going to give it to an Ogoni person, because Ogoni, where the suspended governor comes from, are in the same senatorial districts, and they are now trying to see how to pacify to ensure that the political ticket of 8 years to that senatorial district is completed before they will not take it out. But the point here, we remember that will have to be altered, because if an Ogoni man is going, he also has right to 8 years tenure. But that apart, the system is very skewed against him right now, and I believe that he has regretted everything that happened, because what we heard from the grapevine initially was that they agreed to support him to become governor, and his government will be controlled, manipulated underground, and ensure that he does whatever they tell him to do for the first 3 years of his administration, and then he will govern for the remaining 1 year on his own, and then go for second tenure. That was alleged as one of the agreements that brought him into office. Having violated that, leading to the crisis that erupted, now he has been robbed of that opportunity. He is now only asked to go back to office and allegedly complete his, remaining years, and then he steps aside. But if that will happen to the end, it depends on what is going to transpire when he comes to office, either on October 1, when we expect Mr. President to do a national brokers, or he does the national broker before October 1 to reinstate him into office. But the point here is that Rivers State is going to be like cold water. It's going to be a place where you will not hear anything that has to do with decisive decision, that a governor that has G as capital letter that the FCT minister do say why he was here, you will not be hearing it. So it's going to be a total rubber stamp compared to what was there before. So it's an unfortunate situation, and I believe that God will just through this situation.
I like that you mentioned God at this point, because he seems to be the only one that can actually intervene and give us some kind of peace. Because the next question I have now is, why would the president allow such an agreement to be, I wouldn't know whether it was signed or to be reached under his watch? What is he saying to Nigerians
in a democratic,
He's actually
in a
the one that
democratic
brokered
country?
it.
Yeah.
A democratic country. What is he saying by allowing those agreements to be reached under his watch as a means of reconciliation? What are we learning from
that's
it?
Somewhat his selfish interest and being selfish.
Well, away from conspiracy, my question is quite simple. What is he saying to Nigerians?
You see, right from time, we have said it, when this crisis started in October 2023, that if it were to be that the person as governor in Rivers State was the FCT minister, this crisis, he will not take what was happening from whoever was at the center as he was at the center. We have always said, when the 8-point agenda was brokered by Mr. President initially, that if it were to be Tinubu, the current president, while he was governor of Lagos State, he will not take this from anybody. So, Mr. President is not even someone to be blamed in this matter, totally. But the point remains that he goes through whatever is presented to him before being a part of it. There are those we call presidential handlers. They are the people that put together these agreements, including the FCT minister, of course. They allegedly put together these agreements, then they present it to Mr. President as the conditionalities for peace. And if Mr. President has been told, after they would have brokered it with the suspended governor, this is what you are going to agree to. If you don't agree to this, there will not be peace. He will say, okay, in the interest of Rivers State, as he is putting it, he will agree to it, then they will take it to Mr. President to endorse. So Mr. President only approves what has been agreed. Remember, he described the FCT minister as not just his minister, but his special advisor. And someone of the capacity of the FCT minister is very strong in his cabinet. He's one of the #1 ministers that he has. So he will always listen to the direction that he takes him, because the advice he gave him before the 2023 general election contributed to his winning as the president. So he will always listen to him. And as far as Rivers State is concerned, the FCT minister is the author and finisher of the fate of every political office holder and decision that will come from Rivers State. So everything was put together, and then it was presented to Mr. President, who has no choice but to approve what has been put together as the conditionalities for peace, and for which the suspended governor has agreed to. So Mr. President has no other input to make at that level. but just to ratify that. If he has agreed to this, I hereby support it. Go ahead and tell the people that peace has returned to Rivers State. That is what is happening.
Interesting.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Nice.
Has peace really returned to Rivers State, Barrister
That's the
Chidi?
question. That's the
Has
question.
peace really returned, or is this just a holiday in St. Lucia from peace?
Issue of peace
From
in Rivers
violence.
State.
I don't.
Right, Dr. Fyneface, go ahead briefly.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that
Yeah.
the peace in Rivers State is like a graveyard peace. It's like a peace that is broken when you have heavy burden in your heart. It's like a peace that happened to a man that is beaten by a snake. And you know that if you vomit and your vomit touches the ground, you are going to die. And you are asked to hold your vomit. It may get to a point where if treatment does not come fast, you just have to vomit. That is to say, the peace in Rivers State is a time bomb. It is not a genuine peace. It is a peace that is brokered in the interest of a few people. And when the larger Rivers people gets to know what the terms and conditionalities of the peace are, they are going to burst out. So the peace in Rivers State is not sustainable, and it is not a genuine peace. It's just a peace to fulfill all righteousness. I have described it as a peace of marriage of convenience, and that is how it is, and that is how it's going to be.
Do you see, judging by the personality of the FCT minister and that of Signala Ifubara, do you see this peace, in quotes, whether it's grief or peace or a graveyard or a marriage of convenience, lasting in Rivers? Do you see the both of them actually getting along? Do you see Simi Fubara being able to agree with whatever the FCT minister passes down to him to implement, especially as you know the structure is now in the FCT minister's court?
I don't think Fubara will go back again and start doing anything that will go against this last agreement that they have reached, because the political nature of what is happening in Rivers State have boxed him into a corner, and that corner is measurable. There is no other way by which he can gain more power or gain more space to himself, because he also is a hand-picked governor. There is absolutely nothing that he can do. When all the members of the House, or rather majority of the House, are against you, and the 23 local government chairmen are not on your own side, you understand? You're just standing there alone, like a governor without any power. That does not mean that within himself as a sitting governor, there are nothing that he could do to realign himself with the existing structure that is being built. But that will kind of tell on the people of Rivers State, because then he will be dancing to the whims and caprices of Mr. President in order for him to have influence, and also probably licking the ass of YEAC in order for him to, you understand, be relevant in Nigerian politics again. Apart from that, Mr. Fubara, as we have seen him, should just focus on this 2 years, you understand, and see how he can accomplish it and bring it to an end in 2027. But still then, he is not completely finished, okay? Because as a sitting governor in 2027, Fubara can still turn something around. Yes, look at it from this perspective. A sitting governor in a state. Listen, you've taken care of the 23 local government chairman, okay? But he's also going to be in charge of the NEC people that will declare election and everything. He still has an iota of power. There are certain things that he could still do, you understand, to determine the votes and to determine what will happen in 2027. I don't think that he should just, throw in the towel and give up like that. You know, one thing with him, he's not really a fighter. He's not a dogged fighter. You understand? If you watch his statement, starting from the time this fight started, the way he gives in and the way he made people of Rivers State think that he has the gusto and the intestinal fortitude to fight. You understand? But when you charge him, he will just wither and go back and start looking for how he can reconcile and get himself back to power again. He doesn't have this kind of spirit that Mr. YEAC has.
All right. So thank you so much. I know this conversation would continue all week as the week or the days progress. We're going to get reactions from other Southeast
especially from the outcome of the PDP NEC meeting that is supposed to hold today.
Yes, I mean, Enugu news already made. We're going to have a very interesting session.
My oh my.
My oh my. You're not putting yourself in the court for me to reach out to you Well, yes, we have
It's
a long
going to be
week.
combustible. Yeah.
PDP crisis, the rivers issue. I mean,
Yes.
this week is going to be packed. More reactions
Very, very
as the week
power-packed,
progresses.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Fyneface, for being a part of today's show from Port Harcourt and not St. Lucia this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, have a good day ahead. We're going on a quick break now. We're going on a quick news break, and when the morning show returns, we're going on a trip around the region to Abia and back here to Enugu. Stay tuned.